Too Real with Bahr Jervay. Saturdays on Choice. A Little Too Real with Bahr Jervay. Saturdays on Choice.
I guess we're ready now. Good morning, peace family, peace to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well on this cold day.
Yes.
Right.
Very cold.
Quite cold.
Yes, but we definitely.
Please forgive me. We had a little technical difficulties this morning on two sides, so I'm glad you guys were able to maintain patience and still come with me.
Oh, no problem. We're looking forward to this.
Yeah, man. How y'all doing? I'm talking already. I haven't even introduced you. Let me get the introductions out the way first.
No problem.
Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to A Little Too Real with Bahr Jervay. I'm your host, Bahr Jervay. I always love doing couples. I always believe in the dynamics of family. Just me personally. I love interviewing couples, Black couples who do their business together, who have just have that movement at heart. That dynamic of couples is always something special. I'm not knocking before anybody get in my live or get on my Facebook. Crazy Tim, I'm not knocking I'm not knocking anything else, okay? But just my personal dynamic, I love doing these type interviews because I grew up seeing a couple trying to conquer business, trying to conquer the forward movement of Black individuals. Yes. That's what I grew up seeing. So of course it's going to have an affinity in my heart. This morning we have with us, gratefully that they were able to spend time with us this morning, the Stewart-Isaacs. Did I say it right, brother?
Stewart-Isaacs. Stewart-Isaacs. That's how I would say it.
Stewart-Isaacs. We got Sister Shemekka Ebony Stewart-Isaac and Brother Michael Stewart-Isaacs.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
MSI.
I was practicing that, brother and sister. I was practicing that all morning. I was like, I'm not going to say that name up because you know how when people try to name up.
Oh, man.
That's all right. Thank you.
Hey, we work hard, so we want to make sure they at least know the name right, So, but I make it easy. Once I introduce myself as Michael Stewart-Isaac, I say, hey, I'm MSI, your favorite guy, or as you may know, some people call me Mosaic. So I make it very easy from the beginning, but if you tear my name up, how it gets my nerves. But we working hard out here so people won't know to mess up our names no more. Yes. So that's the goal.
There's so much that I enjoy about y'all, man. It is so much, not just the Black family structure that you represent and that you manifest, but business-wise, it's so much I really like about you guys. I like how, and I keep looking over at my notes. If you guys see me looking this, I'll be looking over, but I love how your names are your brands in some degree. That, man, that is something. Like I go off Bahr, a name that started in the hood, was actually moved into a business brand for myself, and things like that is just phenomenal. So I really respect how you guys are able to do that.
Thank you.
The first thing I got to get into, because you guys are doing so much, and I want to go ahead and get into it. And the first thing I got to get into is the years ago when I did meet you. You were using your platform with a camera, and you were using a word that I actually used to use this word all the time, brilliant. That was one positive word I would always hear about myself was brilliant. But to see you guys, and I don't know if it was at a training, it was at some event that I saw you guys, and everybody was rushing over to you, like holding these signs, I am brilliant, I am brilliant. I saw everybody, and I cannot remember where it was, and I want to say Roberts Park, probably 2017.
Oh man, yes.
That'd probably be about right.
I think
that was one of our spots. Yeah.
And I think that's why I first met you. I met you, brothers, why I first met you. Now, of course, I believe Shemekka had already known Aaron. So I believe that's why I first met you and was first introduced to the I Am Brilliant movement. And you spoke a few words to me, and it was after I had finished speaking or saying something, and you came over and spoke a few kind words to me and was like, brother, do you mind taking this picture, holding the sign, I Am Brilliant? And I was like, yeah, that's, so I know y'all got a picture of me. I'm telling you, y'all got a picture of me.
Oh, we got it. It's out there.
But please remind me and enlighten everybody on what I Am Brilliant is. And whoever, y'all choose. I'm gonna let y'all choose. Of course, I have individual questions for each one of you, but please, you guys just tell us what is I Am Brilliant?
I'll let the queen explain it.
Well, I'll begin it by just breaking down in essence, by definition, what I Am Brilliant is. And then Michael can just illuminate what it has become with the campaign side of this affirmation. But when I was in Washington Terrace on assignment and doing intentional living in that community as AmeriCorps Vista, it came to me this great asset that we have. Like, communities are built on assets, and too many organizations look at the deficits. So when you look at, by definition, what brilliant means, they teach us that it's about scholastic achievement or some type of an anomaly of someone gifted. They teach you it's very few that are brilliant, but the definition of brilliant is illuminous. And the illuminous part that we all have within us is either covered up by trauma, our pain, our life, but we all have something inside of us that we're super passionate about, that we are the go-to person in our village or our tribe, that thing that's in us that we exercise a whole lot, and maybe we get paid for it, or we exercise the parts of it that people want, and we survive with it. But either way, the brilliant part of I Am Brilliant is really centered on the declaration of I am and the luminous affirmation of brilliant. And that's kind of where it began. And Mike can share what it's become.
Well, I think just like she stated, as in her feminine essence, right? She held an egg that had potential in terms of what she created with I Am Brilliant. She registered, we have it as iambrilliant.org for those who want to kind of check us out while we're talking. And, with I Am Brilliant, she first presented to me at a time when we were partners working in community just as friends. And what happened in the moment was she presented me with many concepts that she had procured in terms of domains, right? So I'm big on domains, registrations, those types of things. And she told me about iambrilliant.org. And when I heard it, something triggered in me. And what happened was it fulfilled a void that I was looking for in a lot of what I was trying to do. I think in my life, I've always talked about what I do. I always had this kind of code that I'd rather talk about myself than talk about other people, because talking about other people is gossiping. You understand? Indeed. But people want to say when you talk about yourself, you're bragging or this and that and third. I'm like, y'all not telling me enough about yourself. And so I don't know how we can do something together. And so with I Am Brilliant, when I heard that, something just snapped in me. And with my background, which we'll probably touch on through the conversation, it just was like, this is the missing link. This is what they all want. It don't matter your race, color, creed, or your content or character. Ultimately, everybody needs this level of validation. Whether we go to the award shows, whether we are trying to get picked to be in a movie or whatever, we're all searching for a validation that somehow the hunger of it has been missing in our society. And so we just fulfilled the hunger. We saw that people needed this level of knowing that they are enough, that they are the brilliant force already. The seed of who their creation was is not external, but it's internal, and it's already in you. And you probably display it in ways already that you don't realize, whether it's the way you prepare food. And all we did was saying, hey, with those gifts and talents, you can transition it to help your community, or you can find an entrepreneurial endeavor behind it. And that's the right that we need, especially for our community, but also for others who, quote unquote, as the terms used, are allies. We learned that this is an equivalent, meaning that we're all on the same level now, that I'm brilliant and you're brilliant. So there's nothing for us to compete against in terms of intellectual prowess. We all have something within our lived experience to offer. And that's kind of what the movement began on, is that everyone has something to contribute. It's not some external elected official who's the only person who's supposed to step up into their citizenry. You know, we all are citizens. We all are in this community together. We all should be looking after each other's children. Like, so we expanded it from family, community, as well as company, who you keep around you or who you build business with. That's kind of what we've kind of emerged I Am Brilliant into. And the campaign is just a byproduct of not, you know, missing out on this living truth that we started. You know, it's almost like a documentary.
Right.
Indeed. I respect that. Indeed. Yeah, that community is a big thing. I still try and in my own personal, where I live at community, not just, you know, I mean, where I live at in a neighborhood, that aspect of community. I still try and make sure I know all my neighbors, you know, make sure I can speak to everybody, make sure I know the children, all those type situations that, you know, we probably grew up under.
Yes. And it's amazing, necessary, you know, especially you have such, you know, your voice is so powerful. And I know you, so, you know, I know you're a nurturing spirit, especially because you're a gardener. Right. So in that essence of your brilliance, all you're doing is just pruning the neighborhood. You're caring for, you're making sure that it's growing and coming up the right way. So that's what we do for people, is help them see the gifting that's in them and understand what other qualities come out from that gifting that you may overlook. And that is very well where you can find your prosperity.
Indeed. So what do you see? Where do you see I Am Brilliant being? Where do you see it being 10 years from now? What is the ultimate goal that you guys envision from I Am Brilliant?
Oh boy.
Just 10 years, huh?
Right.
We're on the long end. This is, you know, this is literally marathon, you know, from theory to practice, because it's about souls being touched, you know. So as long as there are souls existing, I Am Brilliant has this opportunity to flourish, because it isn't locked to us. It's not about us. We're just the mirrors of reflection, and we may be blowing on a couple of dreams to help illuminate that flame a little bit stronger. But this is a tour of reminding people of who they are, so that you can remember yourself.
Exactly. There you go.
Know, that connecting our parts of ourselves that whatever we survived. And you know, if there be any truth to the core of what allows other people to take that, this truth is, we've seen it already like mature into, you know, people that have come through the campaign are illuminating in their own way, doing their own thing. So it's like, it's going to live on. It might not be called I Am Brilliant, but the essence of it, you know, that their light has been turned on, they've been touched. And so, you know, I see it just growing beyond. As long as there's life here, there's a essence of being, then there's an essence of opportunity for people to tap into their own brilliance.
I mean, well said. And I just listening to her and just that outline, I think for us, we see I Am Brilliant for the concept that most people call legacy, right? You know, the greatest value is the ability to see all these wonderful people that we've been able to capture and then progressively see their growth. And so a lot of what I see us as, most importantly, are storytellers. Not that if any point you never see me and, like you said, we have our own personal brands, right? So I Am Brilliant, though it's our platform of delivery, you know, we are definitely spiritual people having a human experience in that regard of understanding that this is not just about us. The I Am is not just a statement of words, but it's a name. And it's a name that has a calling on everyone out there that we're working on and imparting into their lives. So I think the greatest thing for us is being in the position of storytelling. And so as we'll elaborate, my background is in entertainment, you know, with Hollywood, I still have those connections. So I love to see us create documentaries and still continue to share more people's stories into perpetuity that continues to be a consistent legacy, a continuum of community leaders, of up and coming business. I want to track this transformation that's happening in Black America, because One is still talking about lack because they're watching the old sources that keep feeding us lies. But these new medium formats are allowing us to go into communities and have this voice. So yeah, we're going to be a media force. We are going to be a transformational agent to how people see themselves and character development going forth, because we're recognizing those who have already figured out techniques, and we highlight those people who would go otherwise unknown. And I think that's the special space of what we've accomplished with I Am Brilliant, is that we have so many people from cities like New Orleans that are leaders that if their story wasn't, if not captured through what we've created, the only thing I pray more is that more people start getting exposed and really seeing the work, see the Instagram, see the Facebook clips, see the videos, see the storytellers, research who they are and what they've contributed. We've had civil rights leaders. We've had, leaders who've been in World War II. I celebrate those just as much as the new young up and coming millennials and Gen Zs that are out there too, that are participating in us. And a lot of the people who are elected officials and stuff that are winning out here are finding this light. We have NBA champions who've come through this light as soon as they came into the realization of affirmation that I am brilliant, they were unstoppable at that point. You understand? Right. At least I'm gonna tell you.
Brother. Hey, that's the truth. So a few moments back, brother, you referred to yourself as Mosaic and said that's what they call you. And that was what I was speaking on early on, how your name is also your brand. That is like, that's a strategy. Yeah. Only certain entrepreneurs really know the details of that strategy. Yeah, so I respect
it. Come with a real story for those out there who may be watching this that know me. I've been doing this for 25 years, from middle school, high school, building, and I've learned a lot over the years, and I love how the expression of it has come out through I Am Brilliant over time, because Mosaic, as my wife helped me define, is about the broken pieces that create an art form. So my life is filled with broken pieces. The difference is
what is Mosaic the firm? Tell me what that is.
So Mosaic is what I consider a brand management development firm. So basically, years ago, I had a clothing brand called Mosaic. We worked on a lot of, media t-shirt based products back in the days before it was cool, before the internet. We were already doing a lot of those things. I was in artist promotions and stuff. So I worked with a lot of music leaders and so forth. So there was street teams, all that stuff. I used to do all those things back in the days. Seeing some of the greatest out here now that are doing it on radio and otherwise, shout out to all of them that know who they are, that know Mosaic and what we started with. And so I love to see the encouragement, because Mosaic stood for motivation, success, and knowledge. And I feel like through all of what I do, I'm a motivational speaker more than anything. I make music and do things like that, but I'm a motivational speaker. I love keeping people enthused. I love being the mirror that makes people feel like they can do a little bit more, or not only that, they get a little bit of game on how they can do more, and they feel empowered more than anything to do so. So like I said, I've taken broken pieces. I know there's a lot of people out there themselves who have their own broken pieces, and we're just standing as a living testament that there are second chances, and you can take those broken pieces, your failures, successes, all of them, and step back and, take them and make a beautiful art form, which is what Mosaic is, where you take art out of broken, cracked stones and pieces, and you make something beautiful out of it. You make the fiasco something more lovelier. And that's what I've done with my life. And I got the formula, to help other people out here do the same.
So Mosaic is a consulting firm.
That's what we do. And that's the easiest way to say it when you come talk to me. But I give you a little bit more than that consult. But yes, it comes with value. Yeah.
I got it. And the name Mosaic, tell me one time where that came from, because I like that.
Well, Mosaic, so it's a name that was created in like 1998. Mosaic is a term that's historic. So it's been around for 10,000 years type of wording and concept. It's a universal concept, actually, where all different culture, every culture in the world had Mosaic as an art form. You understand? So to me, there was an underlining principle to Mosaic that was innate to human beings, right? You don't matter if it was Mayans, Aztecs, Africa, the Arabian, everybody had some kind of Mosaic art form to this day. We see it in our churches and so forth. And so I felt like Mosaic was everywhere. And so when I first started as a clothing brand, I knew that's what I was going for. And then over time, it became a part of who I had to become, because I couldn't disassociate myself. When I tried to go back to corporate America and work, I was still known for what I used to do in promotions in the streets with Mosaic. I'm from New York originally, but I grew up in North Carolina. So it was that balance of it. So it just stuck with me. And now as a consulting firm, I give all the game that comes from Mosaic to great leaders like herself, you know what I'm saying, to bring it together. That's kind of what we do now. And that's the birth of a lot of these great brands.
And you was not playing when you say great leaders like this sister here. Yeah. I really don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin, but I know where I want to begin to ask you about is something I've been following you for a minute since I started reading. I follow all your posts about is the Crown campaign.
Yes.
Can I jump past a few things and get to that real quick? Back to visit all the other 4,000 things that you're tied to?
Yes.
Because I actually been wanting to learn about this Crown campaign for a while, because it's like for real. Mm-hmm. It's for real. So please explain and let us know where you're at, where that is.
Absolutely.
And how important it is to the culture, please.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Dr. Bernice Rumala and myself, we have been working in community around amplifying the experiences of people facing inequities, what we call PLE, people with lived experience, and amplifying the value of who they are. And we've done white papers, we've co-authored things around the research and affirming what we already know in community, right? That we really hold the value. We have this expertise within us. And so for us, after I think in 2019, January or February, the Human Rights Commission out of New York had launched their first passing of language similar to the Crown Act, which was protecting, amplifying racial discrimination in the form of racial hair discrimination, showing up in resolution form and disavowing this as something to happen. But it was the first noted essence of it. And Dr. Rumala brought it to my attention. And what we wanted to do was amplify what we were doing in a way that could campaign and lift up people with lived experience that are really facing these things. Yeah. And so we launched the Crown campaign with the idea and the essence of own your crown, first of all. Like you should be able to own it freely. What the Crown Act began to form as when they developed the Crown Coalition was an opportunity for large-based institutions, corporations to kind of get behind ending hair discrimination in the form of racial discrimination. For us, we were launching and building both trains at the same time. And so Ajua Biasamoa, who was the legislative wisdom and an agent behind getting the Crown Act to mobilize nationally, and she has this intention that, she's targeting several states in her strategy. We saw an opportunity to really still center and ground what people were already doing in their community. So many people have been doing research about this for years. So many people have been talking about this in their barbershops and beauty salons for years. So many people have been, fired or denied access. And so what we became with the Crown campaign is we got behind the Crown Act and we began to really amplify ways that we can mobilize in our community to take our power back and own this space around racial discrimination, protections in the form of hair discrimination. And it's deeper than hair, obviously, if you really look into it. And what we begin to see is that this influx of people that were really facing these problems and were really challenged wanted to get involved. And so we became a resource hub. We became the people that actually answered the emails and the phone. And we were the first responders in community, even through a pandemic, and making sure that these real families that were really facing this had some real solutions, and they had someone that were in allyship. So we wrote letters of condemnation to Tatum Independent School District for expelling a 4-year-old because of his hair. The grandma had faced criminal charges, was locked up for sending her child to school because they couldn't produce in writing why they were making him be isolated in pre-K.
Yeah.
So we look at policy, right? Because we need to put some teeth behind whatever the Crown Act becomes. And we don't know how long it'll take for it to get to all 50 states. But what we do with the Crown Campaign is help everyday people gain their power by looking at how their own policy is being written and how it's negatively impacted. Sometimes we're so inequitably placed in position of powerlessness in the workforce and in schools that we don't even read the grooming policy. We don't even look at these words as being incriminating, like unkept and clean and well cut. And for this case with Tatum schools, they were specific to say Afro puffs. What other kids wearing Afro puffs?
Come on.
It was important for us to create an ecosystem of people that we could send people to and connect, like real strategy and that to access to panels and speaking on this in universities. We went advocating in a lobby days and went and personally thanked Senator Cory Booker for his place in all this work and advocating and just honoring those that are doing the work. And now at home here in North Carolina, I was very intentional and strategic in looking at how we move in our state, because though nationally, we weren't necessarily considered ready, I knew there were some things we could do. So I really kept with key players that were mobilizing this, and it was meaningful for them. This is Senator Natalie Murdoch, relationship building before she was a senator, and partnering with Judge Ashley Parker Dunstan, who had the lived experience of this. She had already done a photo shoot, so she was already waving a banner for this. So it was very easy to build a light and a network around who was already lifting this work here in North Carolina and what can we do to move things. So it was a 100-county strategy of mobilizing resolutions. It was intentional of having these things moved at the policy level of municipalities because the moratorium had been lifted. So we had an open door. So it was partnerships with Black women-led organizations like Action NC, National Coalition of Black Women Rising, which was formerly NCBWR. We were already working together. And so to get behind this, it was easy. And for me, I can't advocate for this nationally and not see it move at home. Right. So for me, it was personal for here in North Carolina. And I just see a lot of great advocates and leaders come out of this. Like young kids have been inspired to mobilize change in the policy. We got Charlotte Mecklenburg County Schools changing their grooming policy here in North Carolina. We had the advocacy around a lot of Black women in leadership in Durham. They created an education video talking about their stories.
Well, let me ask you this, sister. What about these male organizations? I have a crown as well.
Right.
Yes.
So what about how's that looking? You don't gotta answer now. You can do.
It looks great. First of all,
I want to share something. I want to share one of my personal experiences if you allow that space too. But go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to share, Mike has been key from day one advocating on these conversations. Like we're at Rutgers University and he's like calling to action for the men in the room and the advocacy behind that, so we have on the leadership team with the Crown Campaign, there was an attorney out of California. He was a male. He's been involved from the beginning, and we've advocated some private stories. I think we have just as many male challenges and realness of, from the New Jersey gentleman having his hair cut to wrestle, that hit me, a little bit different, but, this is not gender based at all.
This is an attack on the hair.
This is an attack on something that grows out of our head. So this is where the racial identity of how this protects our culture is so important for us to get behind, and men, women, and children have to be involved.
And bearded brothers too.
Yes.
They get their
hairline, follically challenged brothers too,
So oddly enough, I've been locking my hair literally since I was probably 17, 16.
Wow.
That's good.
Like you'll be hard pressed to find a photo of Bahr without hair.
Love it.
And even before locking my hair, I always had cornrows or afro or braided, something of that nature was always my style. But when I decided to first lock my hair, and I can remember going into I used to work at a newspaper. They're not paying me, so I'm not saying the name. But I grew up. Everybody knows I grew up in the newspaper business, and so my parents were parents of education. They were big on education and school education. Let me say that. Even though they didn't like to create the situations for it, they were big on school education, and I was actually different. But when I first started to lock my hair, that is where I received some of the first discrimination.
Yeah, it's cultural assimilation, and our parents have experienced that. The generation before us, they were told, because of those grooming policies that said your hair would look unkempt. Like we told our kids their hair off and look a certain way. I don't do that with my sons. I'm breaking that cycle, but we have to have those real conversations inside our community for sure.
And I think when I first moved in from outdoor newspaper work to putting on a suit and tie, and selling advertising and actually becoming a productive member of the company, I remember my father telling one of my friends who worked there that folks would never take me seriously because I had long hair.
Yeah.
And that was family.
Yeah.
And that was family.
Yeah.
It's real.
So that was my connection with the Crown Campaign. It wasn't just the woman's side, although I am a woman advocate. I'm an advocate of my sisters. Y'all know, that. So, but the aspect of being able to, what naturally comes out of your head should be accepted, regardless of who it is, regardless if it's patchy or if it's full. You should be accepted for whatever comes out of your head. That was one of my most, lingering attachments to the Crown Campaign, and why I respected it and wanted to talk with you so much more about it.
Thank you for lifting that up. I mean, it's so important that we have to change a culture aside from just having the Crown Act pass. Like, we really have to, even after it passed, if it doesn't have teeth, thanks to the New Jersey Civil Rights Coalition for sharing this, it has to have teeth. We have so many laws that are written, so what? Like, there's
like
power.
Like brother just said, beards, any of our cultural features, we should be in that, and you actually could be starting so much more. You're starting so much more, but anything that is naturally our cultural features just somehow does not seem to be accepted.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Man, I think that's laws that have been written for years within this systematic structure, done to the Native Americans, done to us when we were supposedly included. To be included, like Shemekka was stating, was to assimilate. And our parents were the last generation that tolerated that. For us, there is zero tolerance for that. And I think that's part of if you kind of go back to the beginning root of the convo for I Am Brilliant, right? As you see all the work we do, there's a reason why we do what we do. It's not just for the sake of doing. Is that whether it's from our storytelling capacity to the I Am Brilliant to the Crown Campaign and a few other things we hope to share, is that each project is touching on a different community that lives in different splinter cells / silos that we have to start bringing people with similar messages together. Instead of thinking we're the lone person doing something, we have to understand that there are a lot of people doing the somethings, and we're just not having enough recognition on that. So without recognition, there's no cognition. No one can understand that there's more going on than they can perceive within their own thoughts. And we have to start believing more that not only for the avocation, because I feel like sometimes when we just advocate, we're just pushing it off on someone else to write the laws for us, where we're now saying, no, we are brilliant enough, whether it's for the crown, that is a necessity for the public good, for the public safety, for public health, for public mental health, for all these different things and reasons why. What you said, something that grows naturally from a person should not be shunned or condoned, especially when we look at the things we are now saying that we're protecting in our social society. For you to still go after hair seems foolish. And we have to mature and evolve to how we can take that to the next level. And that's what the Crown campaign does. It takes people out of their silos. It even takes the upper layer of the people writing the Crown Act and lets all voices be heard when it comes to something that affects all people.
Indeed. Let me ask you, I got another one, sister, because you got something I really want to help you promote too, because I think it's magnificent. I've been seeing y'all in these lovely photos all over the internet. While I get naked. That's grown folk talk right there.
You talking about this? You talking about this right here?
Yeah,
this bestseller right here.
Bring that a little closer. Bring it a little closer. Bring it a little closer. Let us see it. Folks who are visual right now.
A little peekaboo.
Yeah, man.
Nah, I'm so proud of her with this one right here.
Congratulations on that, sister, because I've been seeing it move around. A lot of folks been sharing it. It's moving. It is most definitely moving. I'm seeing it everywhere, and I'm honored to have it up here to be able to interview you, talk about it. So please instruct us on While I Get Naked. Let us know what that's greasy, Mike. She greasy talking.
While she getting naked, she gonna tell it.
Okay, so I want to start with this. This is short. This is how I close the book, but it's like While I Get Naked has 3 parts of unveiling, and we'll talk about the nakedness, but maybe this will help illuminate who I am and where this journey began. But I was intentional putting it at the end of the book because I think it's important for us to live it without being too familiar with who we know. Indeed.
Look at her, bro. She done set up. Look at her.
Yes.
She done
we ready for this.
You're waiting for this one. Come on.
We ready.
Yeah.
So this is titled, Who Am I? I am powerful beyond measure. I am a compact, multi-purpose, experiential treasure. Life is my gift. Relationships are a bonus. I am loose from the harness of pain and sorrow. As I journey discovering my new existence, I absorb the treasure with the yes as I maximize the experience. I share myself as a gift to all who seek to discover the ever-fulfilling testimony of me, a child, a leader, a wife, a mother. I am a living epistle read by men daily, transformed within and able to live again. Glory to the one that made me, Shemekka Ebony.
Everybody got it. They look, I don't have sound effects right now, sister.
While I'm Getting Naked, the best read.
Give me a quick, because I got so much more to ask both of y'all. Give me a quick description. Please tell me where we can go get it, how we can get it, what everything. Let us know what's up, y'all. Everybody ears open. Come on.
Absolutely. While I'm Getting Naked was a journey for my getting real with myself, uncovering the layers, the hats, what I experienced, and kind of instead of allowing it to batter me and beat me down, it became the fuel that helped me become who God really created me to be. And I used to talk about often being Edward Scissorhands, and I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it's based on a person being cultivated. Right, being cultivated and trying to figure out who he is by other people telling him what he should do. Because he had a special gift. He was different, you know. And so While I'm Getting Naked is that self-care, well-being journal book that kind of gives you that challenge and opportunity to peel a little bit back, reflect on it, write it out in the book. And so for me, this was a release that I held on for a long time, thinking no one would really get it out. People don't need it. You know, it was something that I wrote 10 years ago that I just released this year. But I talk about Haiti in this book and what happened 10 years ago. And here we are today with the same stuff that's in here, lifting up how we look at our perspective and how we curse people in our language based on judgment. So this is a stripping away of our own internal judgment, our own voices, our families. This is a tool that'll help you begin that conversation. And so it's 3 parts. It's really deep. I always tell people, give yourself some grace to sit with it a while. It's not something you can rush through if you really want to transform yourself. Like, nobody shows up to this meeting with this journal book but you. And sometimes we're not ready to deal with all the parts of us, but it's okay. We're here for the long haul. So you can go to Shemekka.com. You can go to Amazon. You can DM me on any of my platforms. I got the author's copy, which is a very special concentrated edition that you're getting directly from me that'll have that autograph in there. And we're really trying to connect and build community. When you get the autograph copies from me, you become part of the community, and we're going to continue engagement because I know you need some partnership in that naked journey.
And I'm going to add,
I want to pick up my autograph copy. Let me just go ahead and say
I'm going to do not do this. If you're in a couple, don't do this by yourself. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up growing without your partner. And the key to a good relationship, when people see our relationship, I build is you never grow without your partner. As soon as the other person starts growing without the other person, it takes, you no longer plan it together. And we got to make sure that, so that's why I'm holding this book up here. I want you to buy it. But at the same time, I'm holding it up there because I want you to understand that this is a warning label. Like, you don't do this by yourself if you're in a couple, because you're going to be looking at that spouse like, you know, with that little stern look, and, you know, and so it's different. So it hits differently, it goes there, and it's real for anybody who has a real life. And that's what we're talking to. We talk to the real people out there. You know, I don't care if you're a social worker, I don't care if you're somebody on the corner. Like, you in a marriage, you in a relationship, you're trying to perfect yourself, you're trying not to be judged, but walk through something that's real. This is the book to do that. You know, it hit me different as a husband. And she said she's been doing this for 10 years, putting in her blood, sweat, and tears and revealing. That's why it's about getting naked. It's like, hey, I'm ready to step out there because I can't let my vulnerabilities be so heavy on me that I'm not willing to share my talent to the world and maybe help free a soul. And that's what we in the soul business. So definitely, like I said, this is a phenomenal read. Shemekka, SHEMEKKA.com. SHEMEKKA.com. And you can find to the book and check us out on all our platforms for I Am Brilliant as well as Shemekka. So that way you'll find more information. But it is phenomenal, and I my hats off to her.
Yeah, hats off to your sister. That is phenomenal. That is hats off to your sister. I'm so serious about coming to purchase and get our copy, most definitely.
Amen.
Let me move on, brother. I got something for you I need to find out about, because one thing, and this is another thing I respect so much, I've coined this term called universal business. As Black people, we have to understand that we must create businesses that attract everybody's money.
There you go.
Right. I don't know why sometimes we get the feeling that we're supposed to be poor in this struggle for liberation. I don't know where that starving artist thing came from, but we are in business for business.
Yes.
We create our legacies, we do our services, everything we need, but we are also in business for business. I think universal businesses are a necessity in the rebuilding of the Black economy. It is going to be difficult for us and time consuming to rebuild the Black economy on just the Black dollar.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We need everybody to stop boycotting us, including ourselves as a Black business.
There we go. Change the voice.
And I did that as a segue into something that you took me back to my childhood too, brother, with this Bahr Nation USA.
Bahr Nation USA.
Let me tell you something. My sister and cousin and I, all of us, we used to we were living over on East Street in Raleigh, and we used to go to Chavis Heights.
Yes.
And skateboard in Chavis Heights.
All day.
Right. And I own the bike, I own the bike company too, so they're cousins. All right.
Right.
Skateboarding and biking
and bike. Exactly.
You follow me? I see multicultures
Everyone.
in Board Nation attire, apparel.
Hey,
man, please give us a quick, while we got these minutes, give us a quick rundown of Board Nation, where they can get the apparel, everything, and move it forward. If y'all, it was like, man, it was like 500 people look like in this video I saw you on Instagram. Everybody was out there skating. Like, y'all really getting it in out there. So please let us know.
Well, Board Nation USA is a company that was developed under Mosaic. So Board Nation is a brand that I partnered with a young man. His name is Y Artist, or Donnell Woods. And me and his father actually were partners for many years in t-shirt printing and apparel. So that's where my background is. I used to have a clothing brand, which was Mosaic. And then I pivoted into doing screen printing for other people. I have a screen printing company called I Love NC Company. And so over the years, I've always developed and been a part of the development of brands. I got out of the apparel game probably around, let's say, 07, 06, when I was doing a lot of community work I was doing to really teach people business and entrepreneurship. And so a few years later, it came the opportunity after I left from California. I came back to North Carolina, and all the rage of my youth, like you said, was stimulated by some of the excellence I saw in my travels, particularly in California, with the people doing board sports in the community, and particularly surfing, skateboarding, snowboarding, what you name it. People don't know California has all those seasons. There's a lot of things going on in the West Coast. And so I learned just this love and this freedom that this culture had. And when Donnell, he presented an idea, he had a movement he was doing with the young people here in Raleigh called Board Life. And he sought me out for trademark help and those kind of things, because I do those kind of consults. And, at the time it was like, hey, it wasn't available. I saw this young man, he was the epitome of everything, trying to change his life around through business and, get this brand started. So we partnered up, and I helped him recreate the name. We launched it as Board Nation USA, and the rest has been history. Literally, we've been fortunate enough to be a part of events that feature Tony Hawk, some of the top tier skaters, you name it, that wear our apparel. We've been able to continue the brand legacy here locally with the organization called Skate for Life, where you'll see we do events and we sponsor them, working with the young youth. It's founded by a phenomenal mother who lost her son, unfortunately, who was a skateboarder, to suicide. So it's focused on suicide prevention. And as Board Nation overall, in partnership with Skate for Life or Tony Hawk Skate Park Development Organization, we look to do things that are positive within our community, changing the narrative for skateboarders. So where everyone's kind of more grungy and whatever kind of attitude, we're trying to create more of an employable opportunity, not changing their hair, not changing what they do, but giving them a platform that allows them to get paid to skateboard. So we have the apparel company, and we also have a marketing aspect of Board Nation, where we're able to work with corporations and organizations where we hire skateboarders, and we do a full live activation events and stuff with the young people, and we get them involved. So we take them off the streets just doing what they're doing as skateboarders, and we give them opportunities. We're doing it here in the local Triangle market, looking at new clients, and then we're looking to expand the marketing opportunities across major cities next year and in the years to come. So it's been a phenomenal ride. bnusa.co, so bnusa.co is the website, but it is Board Nation USA. You can find us on Instagram, Google search it, and it's BOARD, not board like BORED, but like skateboard. I always have to tell people that, we're not bored in this world. We're definitely energetically and happy, but I love the brand. I love the youth engagement. A lot of people who know me say, Mike, you never look young. I was like, yeah, I stay around young people all the time. That's the fountain of youth,
Gotta do it. Gotta do it for sure, brother. Stay around the youth. And they keep your mind sharp.
Exactly.
Stand around that youth to keep your mind sharp. Sister, you were in. All right. So for one thing, I watched episode after episode about reparations with this job for this training you had in Asheville. I watched episode after episode, episode after episode. Like, thank you for that. And I also saw that you were in the money edition of the New York Times. All right, we're not nothing. They talking about money in this edition, and you were in them. And you also have Black Girl Magic Market. So it's safe to say you are aligned with the economic practices of success.
Yes, it's so important.
Please tell me about the Black Girl Magic Market, please. Because I got a request that I like the page too. It's beautiful. I saw nothing but, man, we'll talk about that offline. Go ahead. It was beautiful though.
Thank you.
I love it.
Magic Market launched in 2017, February 2017, as an online Facebook group. Excuse me. I wanted to continue to engage a group of ladies that I formed when working with Erin with Black Women's Roundtable. A convening that we had in Charlotte, and I was put in charge of connecting with Black women vendors and having them come. And so for me, after that, I was like, I had gotten so many dope lists, of sisters. I was like, let's continue how we engage. And so I launched that Facebook group initially to be a spot where we can connect, continue to engage, and it grew its capacity into, this is what economic liberation looks like from theory to practice. This is what creating opportunity and building capacity. I center Black Girl Magic Market in this. If we can center wealth building and capacity building around business and entrepreneurship for women that are identified as Black, then we create a culture that feeds communities, because their well-being centered heals a whole community because of how nurturing and connected we are in what we do. Now, some of us get paid for what we do in this nurturing and giving, and other of us are exploited and not paid our value. And so with Black Girl Magic Market, we meet you where you are. For me, working with women, we center there, but we don't limit it there. So we're working with men business owners, we're working with children business owners, and giving capacity to advertise and promote. This organizing of entrepreneurs and shoppers was important to me because money's green, plastic, and now crypto, and so in order for us to really build capacity, we have to create opportunities for us to exercise whatever our business is. And so the Black Girl Magic Market launched into doing pop-up events from the convening of what we were doing online to really give that practice part of how we build our knowledge base. How do we network? How do we learn how to sell better? So that, and then it got bigger. So where it started in focusing only on North Carolina, we were seeing Black women reach out to us from across the globe. And so for us, it was an opportunity to lift up resource opportunities. There's a narrative that Black women have access to a lot of money to start businesses and launch and blah, blah, blah. But there's a separation of our access and our capacity to get ourselves to a place to have access, because the game is written a little differently. There's some different paperwork and some loopholes that really are the second inequitable barrier that exists because of the system of economics, that we have to have that extra support, awareness, and empathy. So it's important for me to help make sure that businesses have their kitchen in order. We can front face real good, our website could be dope, but we still, mixing money. Our personal business account is our personal account. We just got a Cash App and a Black green card or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know the steps it takes to build that foundation for business success. And so through this mentorship of this great king here, it gave me an opportunity to write out a way of being that showed people what's possible, and then be that what I like to call the convener of the silo leaders, and we get together and meet up with this ecosystem, but it's allowed me the opportunity to be connected with people that are really trying to create this economic change, but just need that connector. And so it became the resource sharing. For me, I'm a service provider, so it's not necessarily, aside from the book, that I'm pushing product, but there's so many other women out here that are and need that support. So when we had to pivot in the pandemic from where we were doing in-person pop-ups, we started the vendor expo online. So Black Friday here, we had the virtual expo. We wanted to, you know, help make sure that people are protected. And then when these women started going back out into these vendor events and flea markets in their communities, we providing scholarships, we were providing sponsorships, and we were providing PPE to remove those barriers that people that are just hosting a pop-up, they're looking to get paid, but they're not thinking about the likelihood of how we make this sustainable for the people that we're working with. So that's the thing that Black Girl Magic Market brings into the space, that we have this opportunity to grow capacity with other people trying to meaningfully build business with Black people and community.
May I real quick just to mention too, proceeds from While I'm Getting Naked goes to support Black Girl Magic Market, so we can continue to provide a platform for free.
Where can we get that, please, brother?
That's on Amazon, or you go to Shemekka.com and you can purchase the book, so it continues to support the efforts of Black Girl Magic. But we really know that Black women are the economic engine, as Shemekka says, and we want to create resources that are very well in line with their expectations and their growth needs. You know, everyone has the ambition, has the ideas, and watch some YouTube videos. But like Shemekka said, you can't skip steps, and you have to go through the process. And we help people really clean up the process as a team when we organize and really make sure. We are also at InvestFest launching the book, but also as Black Girl Magic Market. InvestFest was an organization called Earn Your Leisure that put out some content, and they did a convening of leaders in Atlanta, business minded, and Black Girl Magic Market was there to continue to plug in to the greater ecosystem across the country. So I just want this to be known for those in our local market. We are here as a resource for you. We're trying to give you best practices, better practices of things that are going on across the country that we've fortunately been involved in. And that's what this is for Black Girl Magic Market. You're getting access to the country, and you're getting access to what Bahr had mentioned earlier, where you're an African-American selling to other African-Americans with support, but you're also excelling to the world. We're selling to all different cultures, getting them to want to procure our culture in a healthy way where we're curating it, not someone else.
Excellent, excellent. Let me get these last two questions in before we close out. One of them actually isn't a question. One of them, the Brilliant Bunch. I watched this video, man, and y'all were in Ebony, I believe, for the as one of the coolest Black families. That's dope. That's dope, man. Like, I mean, that's dope.
Yeah,
Thank you.
How did y'all, like, y'all were the coolest Black family or whatever in a national magazine.
What us?
That's dope, man. I wanted to give y'all, big ups for that, because how many beautiful children is it between all of y'all? How many is it? And the Brilliant.
Six children. So we are truly like the blended family. The AKA the Brady Bunch became the Brilliant Bunch, because me and Shemekka, as we said before in the beginning with I Am Brilliant, we met in community as friends. We both were divorcees, and we were just figuring life out. We saw that we had right goals and values, which is what I would tell my men when you're looking for your queen. Make sure she aligns with goals and values for your continued growth and flourishing.
Well, we're gonna have to do a whole nother show about that.
Brother, don't do that one.
Real talk.
We got to treat our women better, and we got to change the language out there.
And
so
that's not a no simping situation, but it's a lot of truth in what you're saying about, especially when you design that long term. With such an ugly culture of divorce and separation and savage, and everybody wants to be savage, and we're just in a real nasty culture that shuns. Anyway, I'm not gonna go. No.
It's a good segue into the.
Let me get this last question out.
No, Bahr, you're on it, because what you just said to the audience is exactly what the predication of Brilliant Bunch is. It's like it takes a real story that could have went left. It gave us a second chance, and all we're doing is telling people who have blended families. We're not the first blended family, but we're telling you that it's okay. We're telling you that we know you come with broken pieces. We're telling you that we know that you sometimes need help and guidance with so many things. So we take all of the activation that you heard, all the different enterprises that we're fortunate to be nurturing. And with that, we are raising our children to see our example, to understand that we're not perfect people, but at the same time, We are a bunch of coming together that our brilliance, our individual experiences, our gifts and talents can unite, and our children feel this energy. So it's about motivation. It's about the family. Yeah. Family's been under attack for years, and we want to make sure that we bring it back in a cool fashion. So thank you to Ebony Magazine, you know, for giving us that love, and Gold Peak, the beverage. You know, we're definitely grateful because, you know, we really love to change that narrative, because I want to make the Brilliant Bunch cooler, and every Black male and family want to do this, than sit there and think that we want to do what every rapper's doing. And no offense to my, you know, my rapper salute, but
I know what you mean, though.
They're making the transition too. They know they were wrong. Yeah. And we all know we were wrong in a generation. Now we gotta clean up.
And it's bad imagery. I'm not one to let it slide. I'm not one to let it slide that, oh, I'm just the messenger. We all have a duty, especially as Black individuals and especially as Black men.
Well,
we have a duty to play in the correcting and healing of our Black society and our Black culture. And me constantly referring to you in derogatory names, me constantly talking about killing you, taking your wife, killing your mama, robbing any money you get, you a sucker, look at my car, you ain't driving it. Me constantly, all right? And that's just me telling you this. Imagine having 600 other individuals telling you this. You cannot tell me that it does not.
Citing it in the nightclub, and everyone's taking that attitude home or not coming home because of this attitude. And it's this feeling that we, particularly as men, because it's us, it's not the women. The women are reacting to the tuning fork of our energy in regards to this behavior, because you see they're starting to reflect it too. They sing the lyrics, and now they becoming the musicians themselves, telling their perspective of the worst part of our culture in regards to that becoming a thing that our children see. So I too have my opinion, but at the same time, I understand my example is stronger than my opinion.
Indeed. Let me get this last question out, because this is how I generally ask everybody is, what does success look like? Then I changed it and said, what does the end of the day look like? And I changed that again. But I'm gonna give you the essence of what I want to know from you too. I believe that we are, as we become elders, we work and do all of our business as well as our duty, our job, to inevitably have a period in our life where we don't have to do it anymore, where we can actually wake up and enjoy nothingness, not having to punch a clock, not having, if you wanted to wake up and you and sister wanted to travel to Istanbul, Turkey this weekend, you can do it. Like, where, and I don't mean financial, but where do you want your creations to be at the end of the day when you feel, hey, baby, call them tickets up and let's go ahead and head to Istanbul?
Yes.
Where do you want I Am Brilliant to be? Where do you want Mosaic to be? Where do you want Shemekka Ebony LLC to be? Where do you want, good Lord, I can't name all of this. Where do you want your magnificent creations to be?
So let me make sure for the world to know and how you can carry yourself. One, we're teachers, so everything we're doing, we will eventually teach. We have a slew of things already being planned for 2022. So look out for that, first and foremost. Take that first step to the future is 2022, because my new year starts December 1st, and we start getting prepared, you know, already for what we're going to offer people. So think ahead, right? You can't come up with what you want to do next summer. You got to be thinking about it now. And so what we're doing to that extent for next year, as well as going forward into perpetuity with I Am Brilliant, is the offering of more event-based opportunities to share and help people grow with this kind of understanding and thinking, and understanding that there's a second chance available. So we're expanding in that aspect of what we're doing. A lot of what we can say, you want to touch on some more of the next steps that we're working on?
Absolutely. So we're looking at how, you know, we can build capacity so that when that retirement day comes, I mean, I don't feel like already that I work up and go to work.
Yeah.
Because I do what I love. So I know that to be true. If you do what you love, you don't have to work a day in your life. And for me, I can't sell something I don't believe in. And I'm lucky enough to believe in everything I sell, right? So one of the things I think is important in looking at the long term is, if I retire every day, someone is inspired to go ahead. Yes. You know, when someone is motivated to believe that they really can go after their dream, and that's whether it's the PhD scholars I'm coaching, or whether it's the women that are just in a 20-minute discovery session, having those life-shaking moments to be transformed. Those are the things I already do for free, right? Well, not the coaching, leadership coaching, I get paid for that. But the 20-minute discovery calls, I don't give any less value to that than what Johns Hopkins University is paying me for coaching their PhD scholars that are doing health policy research. You know, for me, every moment counts. So as long as I'm breathing, I have an opportunity to feel like I have this thing I call I'm saved today. You know, and, you know, I'm a small groups pastor, I'm a neighborhood pastor, I'm a community pastor. Like, my life is really about transformation. Yes. Like, I'm a leader and a trainer's trainer. So for me, every moment is intentional. So when I see someone that I've impacted continue to work in some capacity, I get to say, oh, I'm saved today. Or when I have these moments like being able to build with you, brother, and just really hear how what I set out to just be a ripple in someone's pond for change, you talk about it in the essence of what the ripples are becoming. Yes. You know, so for me, that's at the end of the day. So I'm living at the end of the day every day, right? You know, is I'm saved today.
Perfect present.
Like, that's it, man. Perfect that's present. It. Hey, listen. Yes, we should have held prayer after that. Yes, sir. But listen, I sincerely thank you guys for your patience this morning and for taking time out to come talk to us amongst your busy schedule, amongst the babies. They was quiet, Mike. They was good, bro. You got it.
Hey, we keep them going. They got big sister babysitting, so we definitely are fortunate, you know. And we look forward, and we have many more conversations coming.
Yeah, and I got to get you guys because it's still so much. Yeah, I still want to know, and I still want everybody to know. So I got to get you guys.
Propaganda's coming. Propaganda is coming.
For sure, brother. I got to get you guys up here next year again, man, so we can get updated with everything. I got to hear about them plants. Let y'all see how them plants is done. Yes. We got to get y'all on some more plants.
You're excited for that. Need them.
Yeah, man. But it was excellent speaking with you. Thank you guys for tuning in. We ran a little bit over, so thank everybody for still, you know, holding on.
Thank y'all for listening.
Excellent interview. Please get in contact to support I Am Brilliant, the Stewart-Isaacs, every single thing. Go back and rewind this episode, get all of the information.
And we'll be sharing it across our platforms too, so we want to make sure people
please. And we are, and that's how we do. We support each other. Until next time. I'll talk to you guys soon though, off of this.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Thank you, brother.
All right, everybody have a good day. Peace.
Thank you all.
A Little Too Real with Bahr Jervay, Saturdays